Okay, so I would like to welcome everybody to the regular meeting of the Woodbury Zoning Commission for Tuesday, December 13th. We have one public hearing this evening. It is the public hearing on the review of the draft zoning regulations 2011. And seated for this public hearing are Commissioners Overton, Clark, Cosgrove, Green, and Teets. Commission members are reminded of the conflict of interest provisions of Connecticut General Statutes, Section 811, and Connecticut Woodbury Town Charter, Section 901, that any member that feels they may have a conflict of interest should recuse him or herself, state so for the record, and complete the conflict of interest memorandum. Before I call on the first person to speak at the public hearing, I'd like to introduce, we have two new alternates to the Commission. We have John Chamberlain and we have Sean Murphy. Welcome to the Commission. We also welcome Brian Miller, who's our interim planner, who's been helping us to try and stay within the lines when it comes to our administrative procedures and so on. So you know we're without a planner and without a ZEO right now. So we welcome Brian to the meeting as well. So the first item on the agenda is a review of the draft regulation public hearing. The applicant is the Zoning Commission, and so I need not introduce us as the applicant. But what I'd like to do is call on the public, for anybody who wished to speak.
Before you do that,
yeah.
How about describing the process involved?
Well, I'd be happy to describe the process.
Mr. Chairman, before we start, there was
Can I take one
absolutely.
question?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Clark has asked if I would explain the process, and the whole object of the public hearing is almost the purest form of government, because the town puts its land use regulations in place itself under the authority of statute, given that statute prescribes the way in which we do this. And we do this by a hearing process where, first of all, the Zoning Commission will generate a set of proposed regulations through discussion, sometimes workshops, sometimes public meetings, and at a certain point in time they become a draft set of regulations, which then gets circulated to the state, the Connecticut Council of Governments, reviewed at the Planning Commission for consistency with other plans of conservation and other sets of statutes and regulations. When it comes to this public hearing, we are now in a position to take testimony from the townspeople of Woodbury. The draft regulations, the draft changes to the regulations were posted on a website, I believe, about 3 weeks ago for people to take a look at, and I think there are hard copies here, and I think maybe at the First Selectman's office there are hard copies. So the process of the public hearing is that we will take testimony from the public, and we will hold this public hearing over. I will ask the Commission to hold it over. We are still awaiting a referral from the Connecticut Council of Governments, without which we can't close the hearing. So there will be a holdover at the end for administrative reasons. But other than that, I think that I'd like to take, first of all.
Thank you, sir. There's a legal opinion that was supposed to be released to us. I think the Commission should see it before we have this public hearing. I haven't seen it. I know other Commission members have, including at least a couple of members. So I would appreciate being able to review this legal opinion that is relating to the public hearing tonight.
And I think that's a fair question. I think there are a number of people, perhaps in the audience tonight, who are awaiting release of the documents. What I have on my agenda here, Sean, is to schedule an executive session so that we can release that to the new members who haven't seen it yet. And then the only body that can release any information to public is the full Commission. If I were to share that information now with either you or John or both, by virtue of it being a public meeting, it becomes a public document. Well, I can't do that.
Unfortunately, I've reviewed FOI laws on executive session, and I would like to know what specific part of FOI laws qualify for executive session, because there is no pending lawsuit, and I'd like to know where you had got the rationale for doing that.
Sean, I'd be happy to answer your question. I will now, and then I'm going to turn this meeting over to the public who came out tonight to testify. The answer to your question is that a legal entity like the Zoning Commission is entitled to go into executive session to receive attorney-client privileged information. And I'm happy to schedule, to put to a vote tonight a schedule of an executive session for the next meeting. The first person...
My objection
Duncan.
is still here. I have not seen the legal opinion. And how am I supposed to have it?
Your objection
How am I
on the
supposed to
record.
ask questions if I don't even know the information you and Mr. Judson and Mr. Clark know about?
Mr. Clark does not know. Don't assume.
Sean, can we please get along on with the meeting, because in order to release that, I have to get a vote of the full commission to release it. I need to do that in executive session. You can't take a vote in executive session. I need to get the sense of the commission. There may be commission members sitting at this table who do not want it released.
Then why can't we have this first? Because once again, I feel I was elected by the people of Woodbury, and I don't have information that is relevant to tonight and could be, once again, I've never seen this. And if we can we talk about this now so we can all members here can have the same information to be able to do the public justice tonight?
Sean, I want to get on with the meeting. I think I just explained to you that I cannot release it now.
Do
It has to be released.
Do you have a legal opinion saying that? Because
You know
I've
what?
read the statutes and I don't see that.
Sean, I'm going to start to put you out of order. Your objection is noted, Sean.
And is that put in the actual minutes?
I assume that everything...
My objection is in the minutes?
Yes.
Thank you. I will let you go, sir.
You will let me go. Appreciate that. Duncan, and then Tom.
I have an interesting question. Is that
Can you state your name for the record? We're in a public hearing, Duncan?
Duncan McDougall. The word is out that legal opinion is directed at some of the...
Can I interrupt you, Duncan? Because unless you're here to speak on the regulation changes, I'm going to rule you out of order.
Then a point of order, sir. How can we discuss a change in a regulation which could be impacted by a letter which the chairman is holding, which could change the whole course of everything? For the information that we have presenting to you, we should have all the information.
Administratively speaking, I see no objection to holding this public hearing open until the next meeting, having an executive session at the meeting. If the full commission agrees to release it, and that will be released in an extension to the public hearing date. It'll allow you to comment.
Okay, you're going to allow me to comment on something that I'm void of the information which you have, which is impacting what we're talking about.
It may impact. It may not impact.
Let us be the judge.
Excuse me,
No,
Bob.
you are not the judge.
Can you take it in order, and we'll have the secretary needs to make sure she can write down everybody's names. So I have Tom, you were next, I think.
Tom Harris. Martin, you've had that opinion since June, I believe June 26th, and
Tom,
to sit here in December and say you don't have it is ludicrous.
Unless you want to.
And I'll also state at
Tom, I'm
the
going to move you out
last
of order.
meeting.
If you don't stop speaking, I'm going to.
Okay, at the last meeting, John Chamberman asked for something at the last meeting that you determine the
I'd like to
legality.
take a 5-minute adjournment, please.
Martin, I have a problem with this.
That's okay, Ron. You can have a problem.
And I have a problem with you adjourning right now, too.
Yeah. Because if I can't
I have a problem with the way this whole thing came out, because this commission has not talked about these revisions. We haven't discussed these things in the public, and we haven't discussed them in private. And we should have discussed them before they
With
went
respect,
to
Ron.
the Planning Commission.
With respect, Ron, factually you're not right.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm on this commission. I've been here for a while, and I haven't discussed these changes. We didn't see them until just before you sent them to the Planning Commission. For
Ron.
about 3 seconds before you sent them off to the Planning Commission.
Ron, the Aquifer Protection Regulation amendments were developed by this commission. This commission wrote them.
Did we talk about
Before
it?
you came,
We
Ron,
didn't
I'm
talk about
afraid.
it.
Yes,
We did not discuss it.
at length. At huge length.
Mr. Chairman, they were never discussed at a meeting. I've been at every meeting since August. We don't know who wrote them. We do know, based on your previous comments, that you have relevant information that the public is asking for, I would like to ask one of the full members